we've automatically put the Bills as the Super Bowl contender.
Every year.
They put them as the Super Bowl favorites coming into the regular season. And any sort of slander on the Bills is like, you don't know football. You don't know football.
You're a hater, bro.
No, I don't hate on any team.
You're a Chiefs fan.
No, I'm not a Chiefs fan. The Bills, the reason why we have so much doubt with the Bills is because they haven't proven it. Because every time they run into the Chiefs, which if you're going to win the Super Bowl in the AFC, you got to go through the Chiefs. Chiefs have made it to 5 consecutive AFC championship games. It's going to be a team you're going to have to face. And each time, outside of this last game, the first time they faced them, choked, played terrible. This last game, okay, sure, coin toss, determine it, whatever. Whatever happens, happens. That's one of the greatest games ever. There's no denying that. But this year, you didn't show up against the Dolphins. You didn't show up against the Jets. And you choked away a 14-point lead to the Vikings. Kirk Cousins. And guess what? Kirk Cousins is probably one of the most slandered quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, good God, you would think Kirk Cousins is Nate Peterman, the way people talk about Kirk Cousins, unless if it's 1 o'clock. But Kirk Cousins...
And it was 1 o'clock.
It was 1 o'clock. Primetime Kirk came out to play. But
5-chain Kirk.
But they march down the field. They get their lead back. But the problem, and I go back to this. Josh Allen was the reason why you lost this game. You know why Josh Allen's never won an MVP? Because every single year that Josh Allen has played, he's had a game where he forgets how to play football. The first 2 years, there's a couple of those games. Year 3, he couldn't beat the Urban Meyer Jaguars. That's always going to be a blemish on his resume because Urban Meyer was probably the worst head coach in NFL history. This year, he faces the Jets, and he looks horrible against the Jets. And now this game, fumbles the game away. The Bills should be 7-2 right now, but right now they're 6-3, and they're the third place team in the AFC East right now.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's because you lost to the Jets, too. And the Bills this year haven't beat a team in their division. That's a fact. And you want to talk about the Bills. You want to talk about, oh, my God, such a dominant team. I'm like, yeah, the problem is they steamroll bad teams. And they usually do it on national television. Usually when they're playing a bad team, it's like a Thursday night game. And like the Rams this year, they're like, oh, my God, look at how dominant the Bills are. It's like, looking back at it, look how bad the Rams are now. And then you demolish the Titans. Titans early in the season, really trying to figure it out with a new cast of guys. Derrick Henry hadn't got it going yet. You roll them. It's like, okay. But in close games, when it mattered, you're 2-10. What's going on? And for me, that comes down to, is it Josh Allen? Yes. But is it coaching? Absolutely. Because you have to get part of your job is getting your players ready for those moments. And sometimes Josh Allen looks a little lost. And he did a little bit in that game. He showed frustration, which I think any player would. But at a certain point,